they're looking for teams, sign them up.
Sign them up. But for us, let's focus on what we're going to get on Sunset, because already players are starting to lock in. We're actually going to get our first ever veto hazard. Are you excited?
First ever veto? Oh, right. Yeah, sorry, you're not talking about maps. The agent, that was a really great decision, I suppose. I don't know, it just makes broadcast life difficult. But yeah, no, I'm interested to see how he plays, because I think I've seen both sides to the argument, but we've not actually seen him played yet, right? The Senegalese agent, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it should be interesting. We've got Mochi playing him. She is a Sentinel player that we've seen, you know, quite a bit of over the years. Few different teams that she's been part of: Rebels, Velvet, Focus, Sakura, but never in main event GC. So if there ever was a time, it would be now. But to cap off what I was saying, that there is the feast or famine aspect. If you don't play into the util, it doesn't do all too much. And then the ult can individually be very, very strong, especially if left unchecked.
Yeah, and I think like that's the big thing, right? From Veto, I think like I always thought it would be a strong Sentinel paired with another. Like for instance, if you were to stick a Cypher down on that B site, right, and you combined it with the with Veto and the little like trophy system as it's been coined, overall, like I think like that utility becomes really hard to break. So that's the other aspect to it as well.
Yeah. It's also the audio on the TPs is actually quite quiet. It can be difficult to listen for if you're not expecting it. And the fact you can place 2 down really cuts rotation time. So that's nice to see as well. But heading in, it's S2G on the attack side. We've got a Deadlock in there, playing slightly like an initiator. I think there's no real... I was going to say no real set Sentinel on either side. I guess it would be the veto for Novo, because you have a trap, and that's going to be active pretty soon because it's on the B site where the Turkish team will make their first move.
You can already hear the utility that has been set up on B as the veto takes position through market.
It's very noisy, and that's one aspect of the counterplay. But it's active, and actually S2G have played into it.
Well, the interceptor already gone off the board. Jalarson actually getting rid of the veto entirely. So as Mosey tries to keep his duelist arc going, it'll be ended very quickly. And Novo left at a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, 4 versus 2. As soon as this deadlock gets in post, it's very strong. But no sensors up.
Nothing whatsoever, but Jalarson ready to get this Ghost working. 3K already on the round. We know how good a Vova can be, especially in a clutch. And that was insane.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting stuff. And I think seeing Jellison in an official, it's nice, man, right? Like, we had him Ascension 2024, one of those players who maybe didn't have the same kind of star power as your Larocque Loiter, and has been team hopping all this year, basically, you know? Which is kind of sad to see, and it makes you wonder what it's like inside the team for that to be happening, but has always had the talent, so this is another great opportunity to prove it. But you can never count Novo out in those moments, and Avova showing you why.
I think like that's the big thing that everyone needs to consider, right? Is that when Kreven came in and announced himself, it cast a big shadow over the legacy that Jellison had. Jellison. No, I just shut up more words. Thank you very much, mate.
No, it's all good. Sorry, my bad. But
the point I was trying to make is that Jellison kind of fell away, and a lot of people forgot about him. Like like kind of heralded that BBL Pacific roster.
Avova first player down in this round. It is just classics. Nothing really to get too excited about. In saying that, Mayusha has found Jellison, but just can't recover the weaponry, and Rainsa will farm them up. Couple more ult points towards the From the Shadows. Still on 20 points of health, so Multi gets the next. It's only a 2v3. Scratch that 1v3. I think Mochi's going to struggle here.
Yeah, you'd expect them to. And S2G doubling up. Sure, a couple of losses in there in terms of weaponry, but overall, they'll be happy with that as majority get through. And I guess a conversation to be had about Novo and more so Molesy and the Vova, because realistically, right, if there's any two players in this server that should know how to play against a deadlock, it's them two, because it was a staple in their year.
In their Sunset comp as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting seeing Molesy on the duelist though. Wondering what his partnership with Mayusha is going to be like. Of course, it was Kayak that we saw on the Yoru of the Apex team way back when. The common ranked duo of Mayusha. And for here, Molesy's been cut out the round early. Unk is caught sleeping. Ryota has found Riazi in the meantime. It's just so hard to focus. The Interceptor getting a little bit done, and so is Mochi. 2 kills in the feed, and it was an advantage for Novo, albeit a fleeting one. Backside control trying to be established by Jellison's ult, but he has to fight this out solo.
Well, spike down, and difficult to try and win back. But repossession
Jellison
looks good.
And he gets his third. One more required. Another quad kill as it was in the pistol. He's up against Ryota. Nightingale waiting in the wings, but it's Jellison to win it out. A bonus round converted for S2G, the perfect start for the Turks.
That's the perfect way to get started for S2G. Bonus round, 3 rounds in a row, and now this economy state's going to get even more harder. You can see the value that the Veto does bring when a site hit is coming through, and it's fairly easy to tell. But overall, when it comes to the shooting department, you can never count out the Turks there.
Oof. And yeah, even just looking at the replay, feels like Ryota missed an opportunity there. Positioning was good from main, Jellison checking on it, but not catching. Molesy was spotted early, as was one of the Veto TPs. Mochi's repositioned and taken the B main space.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Vova. Pistol shot certainly not missing from his locker.
Yeah, even, I was going to say, at the start there, it's a little unfortunate because Mayusha gets caught through the top mid smoke, so you're wondering where Novo are going to get their advantages in this round. It's just got to be through clean shooting, I think, especially now that Avova most likely will be left solo on A. Ryota has arrived in the nick of time. And Molesy is also taking the long route, so
Yeah,
S2G might just have to wait out this next one-way first.
I mean, that's the thing with the new waves of utility. There's a timing to be hit. That paranoia has certainly done so as well. But Ajia, and Leroy Sani coming through at the perfect time as that spike goes down. And they end up finding themselves 4-2 up.
Leroy! Well played from him. But as you say, I think you're seeing it in the mid-round with how teams really need to force themselves to be more proactive. They can't just sit as static as you usually would and rely on that extra surplus of utility. The timings are key and you have to hit them. Novo have missed an opportunity here, albeit one stacked against them. S2G come in with the guns and they walk away with them. 4 players left standing, 4 rounds on the board.
And it doesn't seem to stop, especially in this next round, right? Because for those at home wondering, what's so important about this? This is the next buy for Novo. Yeah, that's the other thing that has to be considered is for every 1 round that S2G will win now, they've got a good chance, or like a 90% chance to win the next because it goes down to an equal round. Especially when you're on the defence, it can be very, very difficult to get economy running and maybe have that, and get the biggest value out your max loss bonus.
Big investments early from both sides into A main, but it doesn't last long. Quick pump fake, S2G turn the wheel, swerve their attention towards B with this Omen ult. Rainser is getting cleared out by Novo.
Oh, and is able just to wrangle the rifle under control, but after some quick trade, Novo have unfortunately lost the B site. So S2G move in, ready to get that spike down. And NOVO have to collect themselves and come into a retake with a player disadvantage.
Spike planted.
Yeah, Zena dropped down to 47 in transition by Avova, but the full retake for NOVO coming in from Boba. Drones traded. It's initially blinded, but gets good info on the site players. Not a Gia.
Certainly not. Still has that stun, and it is good as Ryusa can't quite get out. And while S2G have already dealt with the majority of this push, just Avova in the corner with no way out. And as I said before, if you win the rifle round, you have a 90% chance in the next.
Yeah, it does seem to feel that way. Of course, these kind of tournaments can always facilitate strong individual play when the rosters are shuffled and people are just starting to get to grips with the situation. And you understand the rationale from NOVO coming into this tournament with the Apex core and the pre-existing players that they have from the Nightingale team, that they want to make Sunset their home ground, that they can innovate in the comp a little bit by bringing the veto in. But S2G's game and their pure exec power right now just looking really strong with the Breach and the Sova. So
yeah.
A timeout called by Spitzer, the traditional coach for the team. He's had his first 30 seconds and 30 more to check in.
Yeah, he's going to have to, I don't even know how to adjust the setup, but something needs to be adjusted for NOVO. As for S2G, I mean, you've got to think about their history as well. Like, they would be watching this year's Ascension, thinking what could have been for them in 23 all the way back. Remember, we were talking about that Turkish super team, and they've always been good at building rosters, and obviously the fact that they're introducing academy players already is a good sign of things to come for the next year.
Yeah, no, that's always one way to keep your pockets lined and keep the process ongoing if you are a feeder team, quote unquote. And they have been able to spin out some talent. As we had already mentioned, Rians was part of that 2023 play-ins team, which made the grand final against Focus. Something to be addressed, of course, in the setup, though, I think is just Veto not having as much stopping power as most other agents. Sure, in terms of actually blocking that utility, the Interceptor's great, and you've seen it get value here as well, but the stall, once you walk out and break it, it is one shot. There's not all too much.
Take flight.
Alright, continues to get worrying, but a 5 versus 5 retake is going to still be difficult for NOVO to try and get back into, considering the weapons they have.
Nice shot from Avova, that gets things started. Flank is an issue, and Sane has got plenty on his plate.
S2G ready now, with all the players identified and time starting to get low. That's the big thing the S2G need to do, is buy time, and they do that through just taking the kills that were sent their way. Ultimate invested when maybe not needed, but Agia will happily escape, and S2G finds 6.
Hey, say what you want about the ult. Agia didn't have the refresh on the Neon High gear. The overdrive gives it to them almost infinitely, and they actually escape with the Vandal. So I don't completely hate it. Yeah, that's some top-tier cope on my behalf.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 6 from 6. I don't think you're really minding if you're spending one here and there. It's good damage from NOVO, but we need to see that turn into results now. Malsi's got the op out. And layering that on top of the Veto util on B is a problem, but it's the A execution that comes in.
Oh.
And Ryota has found that first pick to set up for the retake.
And all the players off of the site, letting S2G set up and knowing that NOVO can come back in with an advantage.
With the Yoru ult, the Sova ult if they need it. Perfect way to break the ice. Flank in from Mochi, and that's where first blood is drawn. Into this retake situation where NOVO are beginning to thrive. Mochi looking for more, given the peek by Zena, but can't quite digest, and so S2G still with half the members, but not even half a chance, or so you'd think. The ult comes in from Zena. It's not going anywhere though. And so NOVO have their first.
Thankfully, they come back straight into this conversation with the what, the third rifle round, and off the top of my head, fourth rifle round, something like that. But at least there's some resistance, and we've seen teams come back. We've seen the halves ebb and flow. But is there anything from here that you think that that's going to make NOVO start to kick on from here, Hazza?
I think more than anything, just the adaptation from NOVO in terms of their setup. Not leaving the Veto solo to watch over B, because as I mentioned, that util probably not strong enough by itself. And then playing a heavier stack towards A where, yeah, you've got Mulsi just floating around with the op. Looks like the right improvement for me. S2G have raised the question mark, applied pressure here many times. Not always followed through, but they will as 5. Oh, Avova.
Great shots. Paranoia just to delay some more. You can see Mayusha still holding on towards shot with a judge in hand. The players slowly scale up elbow though.
Ryota, her teammate, trying to instigate a little bit with the owl drone. Doesn't connect to anything. Jellison just wide of the mark. Avova will stay on his perch for a little longer, but it's not long lasting. Mayusha breaking through the barrier mesh with the ult in kind. It doesn't get anything. And that death feels frustrating now as it's 3 on 3.
And how much time realistically is left, because we're starting to get to the latter stages of that now. Still, S2G have so much utility to hold on. Still a sonic sensor there.
Yeah, but Mochi, it's an empty belt, and they've got to push in by themselves. Ryota trying to set up the rest of the team. The stun connects to Mulsi on the way back through. Info on the backside player who's holding it down. The net in the face of NOVO just forces them to continue respecting this. And it's too little too late. Mulsi with a chance to strip the guns off. And Jellison is the first casualty. His opponent, and of course, the loser in the Ascension 2024 final. But there's only one winner this time, and it's S2G again.
Of course, yeah. That's a big thing that we've not really spoke about, is that I guess the players are familiar with one another. But it does go 7-1, and Jellison ready to, Jellison ready to get his revenge for that pain caused to him. Advantage at least for the next half for S2G, and there's a mixed buy-in here. One rifle on Ryota, and op still kept by Mosey.
And that's exactly what NOVO have to do in this round. Play through that operator, use it as a conduit. He is the sole custodian of the A space. Focus on middle. That's where S2G are executing from.
Stun hits as well does the utility. Ooh. A good ultimate from Ryota makes this competitive. Remember, 3-3, op and Phantom still in play.
Rainter has ulted to default, has the spike and a chance to plant. Mayusha pressuring, but it's Xena that's been overlooked in market, and Ryota only good for one back. 1v1.
And it's Ryota that comes out on top. So we do get a second round from NOVO, a double up of round count, and they keep on fighting forward. I think as well, S2G are a little unlucky not to come out on top there, Hazza.
Yeah, perhaps, but for NOVO, they're going to be happy that they've picked this one up, because you were only really playing around the op, like I said, but that early control gave a little more safety in the setup to the B players and those coming through mid. Trades there, or thereabouts. Mayusha finding 2 with the Sheriff. And yeah, Ryota making no mistake in the 1v1 against Jellison that time. So 2 on the board. I'd say 4 is your minimum. But starting to put them together now.
Starting to get to work, and the utility already being used, and it's only audio cues that's made them use the utility early, which is worrying. Because S2G, you just walk away and that utility is already used up.
Yeah, the interceptor offline, but Mulsi still on this line in A. And will find Rainter as she crests the corner of the phone booth. 5 versus 4 situation. NOVO not often finding the advantage, but when they have, the system in place looks regimented.
Already a player back in their favour, but not considering where the Neon's positioned, and Mosey trying to get in on the action as well, but he's now all alone. and it should be easy enough with the utility combination. And players are just being hemorrhaged left, right and centre. S2G look to march on towards E unless a NOVO could come up with a prime time clutch.
Oh, and he always gets you excited, but it's this second player, Aegea, that is the most problematic. An advanced angle early, and Jellison cleaning up. 3 on the round again. Another multi from him, Cairo.
Yeah,
Been very impressed with this reprisal that we've seen against the Apex boys.
yeah, and I think that's the big thing about Jellison, right? Is as you already mentioned earlier on about how he's kind of went into the exhalation, right? Like exile, whatever you want.
Exile. Just yeah.
Do you know what? That's probably one of my worst, but we'll keep on going. But the fact that like we've not really seen him have the same sort of return to the big time, right? We've never seen him in an EMEA Challengers tournament, which is pretty hard to believe.
To be fair to you, exhalation is a word. It just means breathing out.
Yeah.
But we can use that one later on. It's fine. We'll recycle
Well,
it.
maybe he's on the bottom of an exhalation. You know, he's at the
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
where there's no air in.
He's just taking a big deep breath out. He's going to take a big deep breath in, as Ryota does. Steadies the aim, finds Zena in the back of the head, but S2G collapse the B hold and can move into post yet again.
See Riaz ready for an engagement off the back of the drone. How does he get that second kill? I don't know. But Ryota now left in a 1 versus 3. We were expecting NOVO to give us a clutch, but this would be a massive one. Has to break a crossfire. And of course, our main man in the server will not allow that to happen. So at 9-2, S2G have the opportunity to grab double digits in the first half.
Yeah, Jellison is the boss right now, but Ryota is playing second string and honestly looking pretty sharp. I've been very impressed with her performance so far. So yeah, it's nice in these events sometimes to be introduced to players that you otherwise perhaps wouldn't see. Not often do we get a stream of those contenders matches. I know that regionally they play the Italian as well, but yeah, quick ends to the half from S2G here on another B play.
Oh,
Unfortunately, Mayusha's been caught.
yeah, it doesn't get any easier. Gia doesn't consider Ryota's position and gives herself away. So with that being said, oh, it doesn't get any better. Lovely stuff. 3 versus 3.
And she has ult up as well.
Yeah, pops it straight away of over. Now looking for an engagement off the back of it, but it's all up to Mosey on this flank, unconsidered. Has the opportunity to win the round here, but does get the start boy in the server, as well as a second. Where's Rainsa off to? Does able to get the spike back, and 50 seconds to play with.
Yeah, Mulsi getting all of this information, which is going straight back to Ryota. Rainsa with the plant, gets the ult, chance to reposition. Time on her side. Plenty of options in this 2v1.
Yeah, Mosey looking to play forward, and there's a lot of utility to play with as well. Both players basically having a full belt of utility. You can see Rainsa looking to try and bait something out, but Mosey with a little bit of movement gets in the face and denies the spike.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I wasn't a massive fan of how Rainsa chose to play that. She had all of the tools, but never really committed to the plant. Wanted to find that first pick to make it a 1 versus 1. But yeah, just never bringing it to post. So difficult. But another great round from Ryota as well. So continuing to impress. And as soon as Jellison's dead to Mulsi's flank, then, well, you knew it was all wraps, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think as well, the fact that it's like a double kill as well, and you get that advantage in, like from there on out, NOVO should 100% convert. But we head into the next half, roles changed, that deadlock, I want to say maybe not find as much value. I guess we'll see what the initiation's like from Jellison. And the players of S2G looking to start the defense off with a little bit of aggression.
Yeah. Jellison could very soon be overwhelmed though, currently 16-6. For the audio listeners perhaps. Just hanging on to the B space as S2G are looking to get aggressive on A, but Mulsi's dropped one. Agia's there for the trade. That's not where the pack is though. Like I say, Jellison playing to contain and doing a damn good job at it.
Yeah. I'm out. Does create a little bit of delay, but the spike does go down. A very quick take up on the CT.
Yeah, S2G flooding into backside. Spike is down, but Evova's already found his first. He's going to need a whole lot more though. Jellison giving away the space on the B site, but only for as long as his teammates took to arrive. It was a strong retake, and that will be 10.
Finding 10, huge. Can kick on to 11 with an anti-eco, and that gap with 8 rounds feels like a mountain to climb if you're on Novo's side, has it?
It does. And it's kind of making you think that maybe they'll be opting for a force in this next round if they want to try and get into things. Spike plant there, but no, it's not attempted. Just pistol upgrades for the players on the Nightingale side of the server. 3 rounds from 6 at the end of the half. Early interceptor to stop people from challenging the main space, but the stun's already had its impact. It is not dissuaded by that utility.
NOVO tries to find another gap by himself, and I like this from NOVO in the sense that they're trying to divide and conquer, trying to find different gaps, but brute forcing their way through A has made a gap for them.
That's the strength with having the Euro in the composition as well. Mulsi can set up flashes off of the highway, I suppose it is, outside of A for those early engagements, and then immediately be on the other extremity. So that's what you're looking for, adding a little bit of lurk potential in here. Vito would be the standard Sentinel to do that. But as the barrier decays, S2G should have an idea that there's a gap in the setup now. But with how passive they are on A, it could honestly be either side of the map. It allows Novo to get into position in this 2v3. Timing. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's insane. Mosey, the way it takes the next engagement isn't ideal, and now Ryota identified and hit by the grav net is extremely unfortunate. So with that being said, all players in towards the end have got a gun in their hands and a sheriff in their back pocket. Making this next round one that certainly NOVO will need to respect.
For sure. But, I mean, NOVO are the antagonists here in the sense that they want to try and upset what we've seen from S2G so far. I think this map of Sunset is ultimately coming down to who has the better A main control, because S2G on their attack rounds built the macro off of taking the space there early, whether they wanted to develop it or head elsewhere. And this time it's just whether NOVO have that space now, yeah, to control rotations. As Agia makes their presence felt early.
And not forcing Apex. Oh, Apex, sorry. Forcing
Steady.
NOVO back. Agia does so with the rifle. And look, Rains's looking for more as well. That Spectre not as good as what was hoped.
NOVO doing a really good job at punishing these overextensions from S2G, but Mochi can't find that one in tiles.
Oh.
Sade! Oh!
It's a blinder, and unfortunately the next shot isn't, but there is 2 players there to finish that one off. So Spike picked up. Mochi, hang on. Timing here? Oh, unfortunately, Jellison is able to react. And it will end up in 12-3. So S2G looking to finish that second best of 1 off in quick fashion.
Yeah, both pistols, both bonuses now, with investments made to top off the economy. Nice shot from Sane, sending it top bins between the eyes of Avova, and the rest picking up the pieces. So exactly what you want to see if you're S2G. And heading into the last round, I mean, NOVO, where do you start? It's 1 round at a time, but I just haven't seen enough so far to be convinced. A little bit from Avova, a little bit from Ryota, but neither here nor there.
Slower approach from NOVO, respecting everything S2G has done so far in this game. Slow and steady does win the race. but at some point you will have to take an engagement against one of the S2G players, which so far Novo haven't been the most convincing at. The flash is good, takes Rainset off the angle, and the next layering of utility is even better.
Still hasn't dropped down from this boost. Ajaya and Riazi on the next though. While Mayusha has one in the feed, it's just not going to cut it. Novo a couple players away from losing their first best of one in the 5 matches that we have scheduled this evening. Mayusha trying to do a little bit more. Bullets whizzing past the head of Zayna, and it's the deadlock ult to... Oh, ended all I was going to say. The interceptor cancelled it. Nice counterplay from Mochi, but just not enough. Another 13-3, Cairo, as both of our BO1s wrap up to open.
Yeah, a very quick beginning to this tournament. That's the other thing you've got to consider, right, is that the way that things will go in the early stages is that they will be a bit quicker as we get through the phase and we start to get through the disparity between teams. It will get a much closer affair, especially when you think about the format and how those best of threes will look.